everybody. Hey. We're going to get started here in 3 minutes, just testing out some audio checks. Thank you for confirming you guys can hear me okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. How are you guys today? So we got a couple of people joining in on the live. Had a little bit of an issue with the UTC. As always, still working things out. Daylight savings in Florida isn't considered. So we're doing this at 9 a.m. Good morning, Rash. Perfect. Good, and I can hear my guest.
Oh, okay.
My guest is in the background, so we'll introduce her in just 1 second. Hey guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody out there. I know that this is a little bit off schedule to when I normally do this, so we're still getting things worked out. Today we have a very special guest. So this individual has been a member of the community for a long time and has become a senior moderator inside the Whiteout Survival Community. And just recently, she got what you could call a promotion to being the content creator lead. So we're going to get an opportunity to interview her, but we're going to do this a little bit different, okay? We're going to do this a little bit different. We are going to make this a game because you guys know that I love games. So we are going to be having a spinning wheel. And in that wheel, there's 6 options. The first one is I get to ask my guest a question. The second one, she gets to ask me a question. The third one, you guys in the audience get to ask us both or either one of us a question. And then here's the fun part. There's an option that says that she's got to take a drink. There's an option that I have to take a drink. And then the other option is that we all take a drink. So I would encourage you guys to go out and get yourself your favorite beverage, whatever time it is. It could be coffee, it could be liquor, it could be water, whatever it is that you like. And join us for a glass as we kind of go through this. Everybody good? Excellent. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Tootler. Cheers, all the way from Australia. Thank you so very much for joining us today. And let me see in chat, make sure that you guys are getting the audio okay. Give me a thumbs up in the chat. Make sure that the audio is working okay. So it's 9 a.m. for me, Tootler.
It's 11 p.m.
It's 11 p.m. for you, so I guess it's okay that I can be drinking. So
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Good. Thank you so much, Liv. Appreciate you confirming out there. We've got a few people in the chat. Once again, it's interactive. You guys can see the chat on the screen today. For those that are watching this on replay, you can see the spinning wheel in the center. There is no audio to it this time, so no worries. Jazzer, thank you very much for joining. Appreciate you, brother. All the way from Egypt. Liv from Australia. Rash from Brazil. Snowy from the good US of A. Myself from here in Florida. We've got a few people doing fort fights right now on a few of the servers
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got Gio from Portugal. Appreciate you guys coming in. So, Tootler, welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Hello, thank you for having me. I actually can only hear you from one side
From one side, it's
of my headphones, yeah.
yeah. I think that the other one is so you hear yourself on the other one when you speak.
Yeah, it's really
Yes.
weird.
Yeah. So one of them is for you to hear us talking. The other one
Oh,
is for you to hear to monitor the conversation that you're saying to make sure that your audio is okay. So I
I
learned that
find
the
that
hard
really
way.
creepy.
Yeah, no, it's odd. I'm still working this whole stream thing out. Um, but there's a whole lot more buttons to the streaming, including the video, the audio, all the transitions on the screens, the chat. There's a lot going on. I have a newfound respect for these live streamers out there that do this effortlessly. Like they're
I
playing
agree.
some major like first person shooters or something that's a little bit more involved than some of the games that we play, and they're able to do all these things. I don't know, they're using their feet or something, but they I've got a lot to learn. But here we are.
Also reading the chats and everything, multitasking.
Yes. Yeah, excellent. Rash, I hope you have yourself a drink. We're gonna need it. Cheers. Absolutely. All right. So before we get started, why don't you tell us? Are you just drinking from the bottle? Is that how you do
Yeah,
it in Australia?
yeah,
Yeah.
except for wine.
Which I saw that you had a glass of that. So you are ready. You're
Yeah,
100% ready.
so I
I don't
have
I don't know if I'm going to be drinking from the
soju,
bottle. There you are. What is that?
soju, fireball, and wine.
You have no edge. That is awesome. That is
Yeah, I love
awesome.
to mix it.
Burbs, thank you for joining us all the way
Hi,
from
Babs.
Argentina. You know Burbs?
Yeah.
How do you know Burbs? Everybody knows Burbs.
He used to be a mentor, actually.
Ah,
Yeah.
rightly so. All right. So tell us a little bit about your background in the game. How did you become a senior moderator to get started, and how did you become the content creator lead for Whiteout Survival?
Okay, so I think I started like a year and a half ago in this game, and then I think it was like last year. I was seeing a lot of the mods and mentors, well, mostly mentors in the WOS. I really don't like hearing myself.
Oh,
Okay, hold on. There we go. Um, yeah, so a lot of the mentors at the time were answering a lot of the questions wrong. And I really didn't like that. And I was like, hey, I could probably do a better job. So I applied, and I applied to be a mod first, and then I became a mentor first, because that's how they do it. So they do mentor, like you have to be referred to be a mentor first, and then you work your way up. Yeah.
then you work your way up. So there's a
Yeah.
progression: mentor, moderator, and
Hmm.
then what?
And then if you get a promotion, you get a promotion. So basically everything is based off activity, right? So like if the more active you are and they see it, you might get a promotion and stuff like that. But you obviously also have to apply to be a moderator first. Yeah.
You have to apply to be a moderator for it first. Okay. So then, how do you become a senior moderator once you're a moderator? Then.
Um, I think you just really have to sweat, be active, always be like everywhere practically.
You have to be.
Like
I mean, it's legitimately a job.
practically, yeah. Because if you search up my name in the WAS Discord, the total messages I've sent is like 70K in that whole entire server. A big babysitter, basically. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you got to be a big babysitter. So you're moderating, making sure that people are following the terms of service, that
Mhm.
they are, doing, not saying any profanities or negativities or anything like that. So you get recognized by the community owner, and then you get promoted. Do they approach you for the promotion then?
So the lead mod actually does that.
So
Like, you know,
the lead
so
mod.
like, yeah, so the mod, there's like a tiers for it, tiers for moderation and stuff like that. So there's lead mod, senior mod, junior mod, and then mentor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So appreciate that introduction. Congratulations on being a hardcore in the community, making sure that you're providing knowledge to all those people, answering questions correctly, which is very important. Getting to being accepted as a moderator and obviously promoted into senior moderator. And we'll touch on the content creator lead, which is a very different aspect of that altogether. So I want to go through and spin our first wheel if you're okay with that. You ready? Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's see what we get. All right, so I get to ask you a question, but I've asked you plenty of questions.
You have, yeah.
So let's go for another spin. There we go. Chat, this is your opportunity to ask, and I'm going to call you Tootsie because that's what Burbs called you, if that's okay. Right? It rolls off the tongue a lot better than Tootler. And then, so chat, you get to ask Tootsie and or myself any questions that you guys may have. And I'll tell you, in our pre-interview with Tootsie, she had a lot of information around the game, the mechanics, how to get support, especially if you're in a VIP 12, just about anything. So we have in chat ask, what are the perks for being a moderator?
Nothing, I'm a slave.
You're a slave. You don't get paid for the work that you're doing, obviously.
No, it's voluntary, yeah.
Yeah. But are there any perks that you get with it?
I wish. Not really, no. This is very much voluntary, and I do it because I want to do it, and I like putting a lot of pressure on myself.
You like to put a lot of pressure on yourself?
Yeah.
Good. All right. So I guess your perk is that you get additional work in something that should be enjoyable in a game. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Let's spin again. Hopefully we get a drink for everyone. All right. Ask Godfather. So this is the opportunity that Tootsie gets to ask me any questions that she may have.
Okay, so what is your future plans for your whole entire YouTube?
Future plans for the whole entire YouTube is continue to make good content. There's a lot of content creators out there that are phenomenal. I think that a lot of people post just gameplay videos that can get rather dry. I mean, if you've done the events a couple of times, seeing them for 30 minutes at length are not my cup of tea. So want to continue to push the AI models. I don't know if you've seen some of my chats where there's commentary of like two AIs going back and forth like if it was an esports event. Myself adding commentary and then just adding some more color to things around like SVS, battle prep, and things of that nature. So there's a lot of social interactivity within the game that I will like to kind of focus in on because I think that that's the biggest driver for players in this space to begin with. And there's no ad or bait click that is out there that can highlight that for a community such as this one. All right, great question. Appreciate that.
Very good.
More live streams. I'm working on getting better at live streams. Trust me, every time it gets there. So, Tootsie, you get to have a drink, even though we're being very gracious with our drinks.
I'm not.
I think that you should just do the fireball then. You should just go for the fireball.
I did, but like I need to work up to it. I mean, okay.
We've got an hour today, so I'm sure that at some point, there we are. Cheers.
Cheers.
Skål. There we are. Now, once again, I know that we're drinking on this live stream. Everybody's an adult. If you choose to drink, just make sure that you drink responsibly. Nobody's being forced to drink. I just want to make sure that that is out there for everyone. Make sure that you stay hydrated if you do choose to drink, and definitely don't drive. All right. So, next spin. Here we are. Excellent. You get to ask me another question. All right.
Another question.
We're doing this interactive. Tootsie and I had a good chat before this, and I think that we went like an hour and a half of a conversation in like 1 a.m. your time.
Yeah, we had like a pre-interview.
We did have a pre-interview.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I got to make sure that you're, lively. We got to make sure that, hey, what type of guests are we working with? Make sure that we've got some chemistry going on, so you don't feel weird talking to a total stranger on the other side of the world.
Honestly, I'm just nervous. I don't like being put on the spot.
That's funny.
But my question for you is, how do you feel being on the CC team?
I think it's so for those of you that don't know, when you create content with Whiteout Survival as one of your subjects, it doesn't have to be your predominant subject, but you've got to cover it in some aspect. You can apply to be a affiliate Whiteout Survival content creator. And there's some rules that go with that. So you can't be advertising like third-party page sites or discount sites. You can't be, fishing for money or something along that nature. So there are some rules in the application that you've got to follow as a guideline. And there are very minimal perks for being a content creator. One of the best perks there are is that you get a little bit of a head start on what's coming. So you know what what transfer groups are going to be about a month ahead of time, which is phenomenal, just from a planning perspective. You get a very pretty little frame that everybody in transfer chat gets to ask you about, and you get to answer that your ex-girlfriend gave it to you, or make up some wild story because nobody knows where it comes from. So you could just say just about anything and they believe it. I think I've got like no less than 60 chats now of people asking where I got my frame from. And my ex-girlfriend, who's a fictitious developer for Century Games, has given it to me, trying to get me back. That's the story that we go after. But I think that the biggest perk is the proximity that you get to other content creators. It does develop what's a community around that. And you get to kind of see what they're thinking from a content perspective based on the questions that they're asking either the illustrators or the graphic designers or yourself in terms of what to do. So I think that's the biggest perk of them all, is being able to tap into other content creators. And I like to do that anyways. By all means, I'm not a selfish guy. My first live stream was actually with another really good content creator, Lackey, from the TMS Alliance. He's got a TMS. If somebody could drop his link for his channel in the chat, I would appreciate that. But he does really great content. He even has a little music video that he posted on there for one of his members.
Is he also on the CC team?
He's not. Right? He's not, and I asked him why not. He doesn't advertise for anybody else, but I told him that he definitely needs to apply. Hint, Lackey, if you're listening, I know that you and I chatted about 40 minutes ago. If you're listening,
text me.
Yeah, hit up Tootsie. You got a backdoor. We're connecting people, so definitely there. So I'm going to take an opportunity to ask you a question along those lines. Then, content creator community in Whiteout Survival is a bit different, and you are the new lead for that group. Can you tell us a little bit around what that entails, and maybe some of the future plans that you have for content creation in general for Whiteout Survival?
So basically, what I've been doing the whole entire time, ever since I joined the team, is watching so many videos and also like looking through everyone's videos to see if they're breaking any TOSs, or like if they're active or if they're inactive. So that's what I've been doing ever since I joined the team. And at the moment, there is so many inactive CCs at the moment, but I had to clean it up, and I had to fix it up and everything. And now I'm just rebuilding this whole team to be more engaged with the whole community, with the whole, I know for a fact that there is some CCs that are losing viewers. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I'm willing to help them fix that.
Yeah.
Um, for my future plans, I also had an idea of doing interviews as well for other CCs or like a CC tournament, which I really want to put into play. So that's my plan. Yeah.
Okay. A content creator tournament. Hopefully, it's not like the Squid Games where we eventually get all eliminated and only one winner survives.
Nah. Nah.
Excellent. Well, I hope that the plans go through. I know that you and I had an opportunity to talk through some of those plans more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
And just to kind of paraphrase a little bit about that, when you're talking about developing a community, it's hard work. As you mentioned already, you're working first to understand who's in that community and who's a good contributor in that community to begin with. So you have to make those hard calls and kind of ask some of them to leave, reject others that may be applying that don't follow the TOS, and then start looking at the group. And we've got some really great people in the group. You've got Hinata, you've got Tauntaun, you've got.
Actually, yesterday I joined Hinata's Discord server and I breeded the whole entire thing. The whole thing.
You just
Like,
consumed everything.
yeah, I consumed, I fixed it up and everything. And because I joined and I was like, it looks like someone threw a bomb in here. What is this? So I fixed it fine.
Tons of channels, a lot of like overlap. Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
there
been
was no
working on it.
categories.
No.
Yeah.
No, my Discord group is not open to the community. It's very exclusive. So people that have supported me, that are continued supporters, get that. So they get to see like a behind the scenes look. There's no charge for it, but they get to see like like the pretty little wall that I have with the lights in the back and the setup in the studio, and get to understand like what's coming in the channel ahead of time. There's tons of guides and materials. If you don't have frost stars, you're using money to buy these packs. So there's a lot of analytics in terms of like what are we doing that they get to see during the events, whereas the general everybody else gets to see after the event is over. So as an example, we just got Snowbusters, right?
Yeah.
And Snowbusters is very new to this state. And I know that it's been in some older states and in some younger states, but we just finally got it 2 days ago. It's a 2-day event. I think it's a great fun event to go after. It's rather long, so buying everything out with Frost Stars, maxing out the event, what does it get you, right? So it was almost roughly 3 hours of playtime on the same event. So I was clearing snow for 3 hours, got me to area 37 before I
That's
ran out of
really
fuel
good.
and I can't get out. I got the first milestone, which is that frame.
Mhm.
I think it's like 65 map pieces after area 36. Other people get it at 21. It's luck of the draw there. But what you take home from that is the big kicker, right? Is it worth spending resources for it? No. And I'll cut
Oh
that
no.
short. Is it fun to do? Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to do. It's a little bit better than the fishing event. I think that it's one of those things that as a free to play player, you get enough out of it. You don't need to go anymore. I think it gets you to like area 19. And when I did it the second time on my free to play account, 19 was about good. Like that was roughly about 45 minutes of total play time in the event. That was that was about that was about enough. Then
You
after
got
that,
further
it gets
than
a little
me.
bit gets repetitive. So yeah. So that's a tidbit for all the you guys that are watching this live stream regarding snowblowers. That video will come out a little bit later on, either at the end of this week, beginning of next week. It's going through editing. Like I said, it's 3+ hours of video content. Thank you for the clap. Appreciate that. Video content that we have to edit and go through and make sure that it's not boring you watching snow being cleared out to release some folks. Excellent. All right. Gonna spin the wheel here. And if it comes up to another Ask Godfather, I want to skip that through. But
Okay.
there we go. You get to cut the edge a little bit more. Have a drink. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're sticking with the wine. We're gonna empty that wine glass here within. There we are. So I'm going to let the
Yeah.
chat go ahead and ask a question. I saw Liv asking a few of them out there.
Mhm.
Got Six Toes, who's one of my R4s, so perfect. Chat asks a question. Name on for packs when buying transfer passes at all time. That's funny. All right, if any one of you guys, and I saw some previous questions up there, I may scroll up, but if anyone who wants to, first question that pops up, we'll go ahead and ask Tootsie here.
I'm reading.
So Lifting Chick asks you if you hated the Valentine's Day event as much as she did.
So, my birthday's on Valentine's Day, and I was in Bali. So, all my alliance members actually kept sending me roses while I was on holiday, and they were like, "Yeah, you need to win this for us." And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just drunk as fuck in Bali.
And you're getting
So,
roses and being treated to Valentine's Day.
yeah. Yeah. So, like, I liked it, I guess.
So you honestly didn't really participate in that event.
No, I didn't. I didn't spend a dime.
Well,
Thank you.
well, happy birthday. That's very nice of your alliance to be sending you stars. Roses
Yeah.
For your birthday / Valentine's Day.
Thank you very
There we go.
much.
Excellent. Any other questions for Tootsie? I thought I saw another one out there. You getting hot there?
It's winter here. I shouldn't be getting hot.
It's the nerves.
I think it is, yeah.
All right, chat. You get to ask another question if you have one.
Just don't ask me like any mechanical questions.
Are you not into game mech or battle mech?
No, I am, but not right now.
All right. Well, I'll ask you a question. So, with Whiteout Survival has now officially hit the 2 year mark. We're now at around 2.5 years. I'm going to ask you a difficult question. How much longer do you think the game continues?
Uh, the- so a lot of people have been saying it's dying, but I think it's just the older states dying, truthfully. As for a lot of like content creators, I know that some of them are really blowing up, but people are like breaking TOS rules in their videos, so I can't do anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So, give me an example of some of the rules that they're breaking.
macros for one, giving away accounts. I don't know, and like using third-party websites as well.
The third-party websites,
Yeah,
the pay sites,
yeah, like the ones that are not verified by WOS. Yeah.
the ones that are not verified by WOS. Got it.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna say this from my own personal opinion. Um, I played SOS, like a different war game, and the community here is so much better and more healthier compared to SOS. And also, that game is dying. Compared to this, I don't think Boss is dying. No.
The SOS State of Survival, is that what it is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's the game that I've played previously, but I gotta double check.
That is so pay to win. I hate that game.
Yeah, I gotta double check something here.
Mm-hmm.
I think, let me see, if I see the heroes, I will know it in a flash. No, it's not the game that I played. Very similar. A lot of games are very much based off of the same kind of framework as Whiteout Survival, but I think that you're absolutely right. The community is what makes it or breaks it. And Whiteout Survival,
Exactly.
so I would say that Whiteout Survival in general, very different from other games, is very, as much as it is a war game, it's not a lot about war, right? The game mechanic favors the defense, not the aggressor. The mechanics in the late game are much more difficult to comprehend, right? It's not the biggest whale, the biggest spender gets to win everything. There is a lot of balance that comes into that, and it's based off of the unified strength of your alliance. So if you had an alliance that was very dense in power, whether it's low, medium, or high, you are
Hmm.
much more likely to win battles than you are if you have a very dispersed power band within your alliance, where you have one big whale and then everybody is like, at the bottom rung. That whale is going to have a hard time winning anything of note. So they'll lose Foundry, they'll likely lose Canyon, most likely lose state battles, internal and external, definitely not have a chance for Frost Tyrant. So it really favors that community or that joining. Now, there are super alliances out there that definitely get formed up where a lot of big
Yeah.
whales, but once again, as long as you have that denseness of power, I think that the matchmaking allows for you to progress a lot further than as an individual.
To be honest, like the matchmaking in the game is really dookie. Like it's so bad. But I can see people in the chat saying WOS is really pay to win. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. I played SOS for about the same amount of time, and I spent double the amount I did on SOS than I have on WOS. And I didn't get as far as I am in WOS right now. In SOS, they had about events, holiday events, for about 3 months. 3 months. Even more sometimes. And you couldn't literally play an event unless you spent money at all.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I'm good off that.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a paid. There's, I mean, a noob on chat says, "Hey, FYI, this is slightly pay to win." There is some aspect of pay to win in this game, for sure, right?
100%, yeah.
And it does allow you to scale faster if you use real money to play. The exchange to that is timeline, and I covered this in my other live stream. There's certain plateaus in the game that allow people to kind of catch up, right? The first one is F30, right in the very early part of the game,
Yeah.
then FC3, then whatever it is, 6, then 8, then 10, and then you get to Charm 16, which is a very long road, and then the generations
A
are
lot of
definitely the
money.
trump card. So hero focus is very big. You could be a free to play player and be smart about your hero purchases and save up through multiple generations to buy all in the combination of heroes that you want for your march in that generation. So whether it's a Renee in Generation 6 and then Edith and Bradley. I know I'm not a fan of Renee. I'm just giving the lucky wheel hero there for it.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the composition that you want. You can legitimately save for that and then have one main march that'll carry you through the next 3 or 4 gens as you're saving up again and be perfectly viable. So in other games, that's not the case. Every new generation is the best
It's
generation.
important. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that there's a lot to be said. I mean, in Noob is actually from 1166 and the War Alliance, really good partners of ours. Just on the last live stream, interviewed Odin, which is the whale that's in War, fully
Hmm.
maxed out player. And in the interview with him, he actually says that he can only do what he can do because he's got a great team to support him. If he didn't have that team, he wouldn't be able
Hmm.
to do that. He'd be looking for a new team. And I think that if you could take something as gospel, taking it from an individual that has essentially maxed out every potential stat in the game, that means a lot to me.
Exactly.
So there was a question on chat that I would like to bring up to you: Whiteout Survival versus Kingshot.
It's the same thing. It's literally just different skin, same prices. It's literally, yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that. Yeah, so I've actually went out and downloaded Kingshot to test it out because there was a lot of rumors that went through to say it's the same game, it's a different skin, it's potentially made by the same developers in the back end, and I have to say the similarities are too great to say that it's not the same studio developing that game. I will say that the community that's forming in Kingshot is very different than the community that's forming in that Whiteout Survival. Yeah,
I do
like
agree
I
with
don't
that.
know where they're targeting those people, but in the few states that I started an account in, the toxicity was really high, really high. There was a lot of people. There was a lot of people there wanting to be the big king, and you and I both know that as you're mature in a state, if you die early in the early stage because you have infighting, that state's not going to survive very long.
Yeah. They took the king, literally.
And Peter, thank you very much for joining. Peter comments in the chat. He says that the Kingshot community is people who were banned from Whiteout Survival. That may be very true.
Can't say anything.
Excellent. Excellent. So, is there anything with the Whiteout Survival events? Do you know of any events that you could potentially share with us to kind of focus in on or stay away from your experience? So, once again, this isn't like hey, Whiteout is bringing this out. Like, there's a lot of rumors and conversation around T12, right? And there's no legitimate information available for T12 troops coming out. There's just speculation. What I'm asking you once again is,
Yeah.
in the events that are currently available, what would you recommend my community here to focus in on, and what would you tell them to stay away from?
FTP or pay to win?
So, if you can answer the same question for both aspects, that would be great.
Okay, so for me, I do have a secret spending account, and I also do have a max saving account where I just put money aside for certain events and then max it. So I would say save money, put money aside for Journey of Light, max that fucking event, max it. Just no matter what you do, max that. 100%. I will put my soul down to vouch for that event.
I 100% agree.
It's good for mithril. You get 93 mithril. My friend maxed it out. She got 500 mythic shards from the chest itself. And I was like, you know what? That's great. That's great. Love that. So you also get hero gear XP from that, which is great. We want that. So for if you're missing mythic hero gear, I would suggest going for the pickaxe event. Go max that. But when you're opening the chests and stuff, open them in 30s or 60s. That's the sweet spot for that.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorite events to spend on. Any RNG events, out the window.
Yeah.
Out the window. Because I spent $180, I think, on the pinball machine one time, and I only got 8 mithrils when I could have gotten more if I just bought it outright.
Yeah. And that's the analysis you got to do on where you're gonna to spend. So I save my frost stars and I spend on very strategic events. Journey of Light is definitely one of them. So as you said, 93 mithril, just as a dollar for dollar, comparison. Each mithril is roughly $5. So when you're getting $415 worth for spending anything, you're looking to make sure that you're getting more than what you're spending for. Most of the events, holiday events, mechanically related events like KIA as an example, or any of those things, those are definitely not worth it. I did a video on opening up packs. So you mentioned this one, and I think that this is a great tip for the listeners out there. And WOS Nerds covers this in detail with lots of people opening up a lot of those random hero gear chests. The
Yeah.
regular ratio that the game promotes is 0.08% getting a gold piece out of the random box, right? That's the
Yeah.
percentage.
Yeah.
I opened up
It's very
over
low.
7,000 boxes, right? Yeah, over 7,000 boxes, 30 at a time, and was able to get 1.8% conversion ratio. So got 7,000, 1.8% of that is what I got in Hero Gears, and that is definitely well worth that. When I opened up 1,000, then another 1,000, then another 1,000, my percentage ratio was much closer to the 0.08 than it was.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
save that many boxes takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Not worth chancing and just kind of going for the short thing. So open those things up, regardless of the quantity that you have. About 30 would be the sweet spot for me in my experience. So I've done 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, all the way up to 100, and then I jumped up to 1,000. 30 seems to be that sweet spot to open it that has the highest percentage of conversion. And don't get disillusioned, right? Because you're going to be opening up a lot more, and you may get a couple of dud opens that you don't get anything. But at the end
That
of
is
that
true.
run, you're looking to be more than 0.08%.
I do agree
So
with
Peter
that.
says out there that Mia is good too. So Mia, you gotta either love her or hate her. She is the fortune teller in the game, and
Mm-hmm.
I think the developers did a really nice job at making her event completely random. So you get to select opening up one of these things, and there's no daily associated to it. It's either you're spending frost stars on the packs to open more, or you're waiting for the event and the recycling to happen. What would you think about the Mia event for free to play and pay to win?
I can't speak for anyone. I have played this game for over nearly like 1+ years. I have never, ever gotten the times ever.
Really?
So, never. Mm-mm.
So, what about what if you just don't get the multiplier? What if you just get what you're getting? Because you get to
I
choose,
have to
right? Frost
open
stars, gems,
all
other
the
things, right?
bubbles, all the bubbles to get that.
You shouldn't play the mining event either, then, there, Tootsie.
The mining event is nice. The mining event is alright. But yeah, no, Mia's just, no. Mia hates me, as well as a pinball machine. Also, Cassia's hates me. Hates me. I spent over $100 on Cassia's. I didn't get any pause.
No. Maybe we need to send you a lucky rabbit's foot. I know a jacked up bunny that can send you something there. So in Mia's event, I mean, you get to choose between your fire crystals, your hero stones, speed ups, 1 hour speed ups in quantity, I think like
Hmm.
105, and
Yeah.
then gems. So
Hmm.
I think that the selection that you get there is really good, and the chance to get it is quite good too. The kicker that you mentioned is the multipliers. So I mean, you get what 10 boxes, right? So one
Hmm.
out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 boxes. And
I think so,
I'm
yeah.
cheating, and I'm looking at the screen right now. So it's 10 boxes.
Okay.
So 10 little bubbles that you get to pop. So
Yeah.
10% chance to get it right on the first time. That's pretty nil. But after you kind of continue to pick them, the cost to open them gets higher, and the opportunity to win is also higher. So there's kind of good and bad to that. I think that you can make a killing, especially with fire crystals. If you're looking for, yeah, you could disagree with me, but and we'll
Yeah.
look at chat here. But you could get a ton of fire crystals. You're looking at per round 130 fire crystals. That's pretty good. And the opportunity to multiply 2x and even 5x if you're that lucky. And I've seen some people get really lucky with that, where they multiply twice, then they hit the multiplier for 5. So they're at 10x multiply, and then they get the win right after that. that's obviously a rarity, but that's a huge win. That's a huge take home for relatively nothing.
Actually, my luck is really fucking shit. I'm sorry for swearing, but my luck is really shit. But my boyfriend, I think he's gotten like at least 150k gems on Mia. And he would rub it in my face every single time, and I just want to punch him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe my luck is a little bit different than yours. I mean, just last night I signed in, hit it twice,
Hmm.
and got my jackpot, free to play. Yeah. So, it's definitely luck of the draw, just like the
Hmm.
lottery is. It
Hmm.
100% into the lore of Mia. I personally would say it's a really great place to get materials. So once again, when you're looking at the available rewards, obviously the RSS rewards are the trash ones, but you do get speed ups that you need for SVS. You do
Hmm.
get charm materials for it, the opportunity to get gems, and you get
Hmm.
the opportunity for fire crystals in Fold. So if I were to recommend the event for anyone, if you're looking for fire crystals, I would go after that for sure. I've done that a few times. You could get a couple of, I think I think I maxed out at like 4,000 on a full buyout of the Mia's event. So 4,000 frost stars. I mean, fire crystals is a lot in one event. That's a lot.
I am very jealous for people who get the jackpot.
I Peter, you're my new favorite nerd. So in chat, I need to pin this. This is this is definitely WOS nerd material right now. So on the first draw, you have 1.79% chance to get it. I mean, uh, and what are you talking about here? Every round with Mia, you have 1.78 chance of picking your reward. The prize pools slightly improve each round, but it's still rigged. I don't think it's still rigged because the prize pool is set. So you got 10 prizes in the bunch. You get to pick one out of 10. So that's a 10% chance to get it. I don't know where the 1.79% you're coming from. As you as you pick a reward, your chance goes higher. You now have 1 out of 9, 1 out of 8, one out of 7. So your percentage to get to the one reward is good. If you're talking about your exponentials, your multipliers, I would say that would make sense with the 1.79 because you're talking about randomly getting the multipliers within your pool and then being able to select that in sequence to get the big win. Uh, what are you talking about there, Jester? Is there a limit on how many times you can play versus certain alliance and foundry? That's a really good. Do you know that answer? Like on the matchmaking for foundry, is it likely to ever get a rematch with somebody that you've played before?
You can, yeah, yeah.
I've never had
have
that
you s-
happen.
have you literally seen like the older states, like state 4 to like 14? They get matched so many times with Alliance Championship, Foundry, everything. Yeah.
But is it because they're more consolidated and less active alliances there? I mean,
Um,
and the power is kind of much higher, so it kind of sets them in a smaller grouping.
also that, but I've also experienced versing the same alliance in Foundry before. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the the changes in the people who you're registering and everything like that. Yeah. And the timings as well. Yeah.
And the timings as well. Excellent.
Yeah.
330 versus 351 used to be a famous fight that happened a lot. Once again, I mean, I mean, if you're that close in power in neighboring states, you're more likely to get to that alliance. When you,
You know.
so when you're at that end game, so when you're talking about the three-digit states, they're generation 10 or close to generation 10, if not more. They got Charm 16. They're at the very end of the plateau, the game spectrum. you're going to have a lot less alliances because they've consolidated over time. I think that you're higher of getting matched against those. But when you're in the early states, you can get matched with anybody because the number of alliances with similar power is far greater. But it'd be wonderful to at some point understand how the matchmaking works. That's why
I kind of know about SVS matchmaking.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell us.
Well,
I'm like at the edge of my seat. And I was like, you don't
so I
say.
kind of like researched a little bit of it. I kind of put on my Google Sheets and I was just researching, and it was a lot. I researched about like 50 fucking states. Sorry, oh my god, I need to stop swearing.
It's the
But
fireball. It's okay.
but yeah, no, I researched about more than 50 plus states, like, because when you look up what SBS matchmaking is about, it says top 100 versus top 100, right? So I put that into place. I was like, okay, I'm gonna add the top 100 versus the top 100, but I'm also gonna add the top 10 pet power. I'm also gonna add the top 10 hero power, right? Because the hero power and pet power is like stats, right? So from all that research that I did do, I can say that they don't look at the stats when they're doing matchmaking at all, for SVS anyways. 10 minutes, sorry. Fortress. But yeah, so it's literally top 100 personal power versus top 100 personal power. And the reason why I started researching this in the first place is the fact that I think I was in 719 and we versed like 736 or something, 734. And they had a max whale. We didn't. They had a nearly max whale. But the thing is, he only had 300 mil power. 300 mil power, but a max whale. Level 11 charms, max hero year, max everything. So when I literally added all that up for my state and his state, it was 300k. Literally 300k difference. So I was like, okay, that's fucking insane. And I did that for every single state and everything like that as well. And it was literally like that as well.
So you think it's based off of general power, so not specific to the stats or the
Yeah.
not as in depth as they go to figuring out how many transfer passes you need, but they're looking at the statewide power versus another state.
Yeah. So the thing is, right, because on my max saving account, I only have 2 marches on that account. And mind you not, it's a really strong account. Don't get me wrong, it's a pretty strong account, but it has 2 marches, 3 marches. But for Foundry, it did Legion 2. Legion 2 for Foundry, which is 2 UTC, and we versed about Fairness 29 to 30s, and then FC1s to 3s. And I was like, you know what? That literally it tells me enough. And putting numbers all down in paper so many times and seeing all the differences in different states and stuff like that, you can definitely tell that it was based off like personal power. So the more troop heavy you are as a state, the more harder states you're gonna get. Especially if you're a troop heavy person and you can't back it up with stats.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a big danger. That and I learned that here in 1166. So in 1124, where I first started, the bigger the number, the better. The easier to get that number was troops, obviously. In 1125, there was kind of like an internal competition to see who could hit to 1 billion first. Very naive in our way of thinking in terms of how matchmaking works or how it affected matchmaking. Because you look at the total of a state, and there's not many people are at the 1 billion mark. A lot of people in the
Exactly.
200s, 150s, 300s, somewhere here and there. And we were getting matched against some very tough opponents, right? We
Mhm.
move over to 1166 where they were telling us, don't, I went from almost a billion to 290 million for a different story. But
Yeah.
I was the best discount whale to ever transfer. I would say didn't even need an invite. I could just come in during open. But we learned a lot about how troops really affect the matchmaking in fighting events like SVS and Foundry. Canyon not so much. That's a little bit wonky there. Um,
Mhm.
but if you're out there listening and you're getting started with the game, focus on getting your first 6 marches fleshed out and having about a 25% buffer to that. And don't go maxing your training. Train on a daily basis, hit the minimum requirement in SVS
Mm.
prep, but don't go all out. Don't spend any money on getting speed ups for that if you don't have the stats to back it up. Definitely need to
Exactly.
focus on charms first, chief gear in line with your hero gear. I know, I know.
Wait,
Well,
Yeah,
I
go.
only say chief gear because of the last update. So the last update introduced milestones in between each one of the levels, right, for additional stats. Go
When
ahead.
you okay. So I would. This is what I usually tell everyone. Hero gear first,
Hero gear
because
first.
everyone neglects that. This is the thing. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, chief gear. So everyone hyper focuses on chief gear and fully neglects hero gear. So I go hero gear first, charms, and then pets, and then chief gear.
And then chief
Because
gear.
yeah, because that least like recent update, it doesn't really change anything.
Okay. It just allows you to get the stats in on the way, right?
Yeah, but even when you look at it, it's like what, one plus for stat. It's not really that much.
Yeah.
Do you
But
get what I mean?
but the events that you're working on, like CJ, as an example, where your top level players are not participating in those events anymore, it gives
Mhm.
opportunities for those folks. But I see that. So I totally agree. In the early part of the game, hero gear is very much neglected, right? Pets even more so, for sure. But also in the early part of the game, those don't matter as much. They don't really bring they don't pack a lot of punch in the early part when they're first introduced. Hero gear, yes, pets not so much. So if you were to rank them, right, for a an active, more mature, let's say Gen 5, Gen 6, Gen 7 state, and somebody was looking to go from, let's say, FC 6 to 8, like how would you recommend? You've got different options. You got charms, chief gear, hero gear, pets, furnace level,
Still the
and
same thing.
Helios. Same thing.
Still the same thing, yeah.
Okay, so
So
where would you feel that you would introduce Helios?
Helios, I would introduce it after they've got an FC8. Yeah. So I'm an R5 myself in my own alliance, and
You want to give
every
him a
one of my
shout out?
mem
You want to give him a shout out?
no, because they're problematic. Hell no. Anyways, so yeah, like every person that's like F2P in my alliance, they can beat those spenders because I've given them the right order, told them how to fix everything, told them how to upgrade everything to the point where they don't have to rely on me. Um, the thing is, right? If you like this, yeah, I would tell you to push FC8 first before even pushing to T11 first. Because if you really look at it, when you get FC9 and 10 unlocked, right, in your state, that's a reach. Especially for an F2P player, that's a reach. I don't see my members, like, achieving that. So I would tell them to go FC8 first so that they have that out of the way, and then T11s. So yeah.
So I used to believe that until we met an alliance here in Foundry, and I guess you really got to select what you want to focus in on. I think for a general perspective, state battles, heavy rally, heavy garrison, there's a lot to be said about an FC8 as your first caliber for true quality. But I'm starting to see in some of these younger states, 1300s, 2000s, 3000s, etc., where they're changing their mindset a little bit. They get to FC6 and they focus on a single troop to get to Helios, let's say infantry. And once they get that to 11, then they progress with their fire crystals. And this has been with some of the conversations that we had with some of the alliances that we went up against in Foundry. Their FC6s were ridiculously strong. And the reason for that is that they wanted to focus on the troop quality in the garrison and the rally. So they came up with this specialization notion where each player would specialize a troop to T11, and then that's the only thing that they were sending. So they would only send infantry, or they would only send lancers, or they would only send marksmen, and the troop quality overall was, you're looking at a full set of Helios at, 10.1, 10.2, or something like that.
You know what's really funny? I did that with my whole alliance.
Okay. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So I had all my members be like, okay, so I had all my rally leaders in a group chat, and I was like, so you guys, like, 1, 2, 3 need to get infantry, 1, 2 need to get marksmen, and then 1 need to get lancers. Obviously, it grew over time. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we did, but my whales did the exact opposite. Opposite. Oh my god. Yeah, opposite. And they got the whole T11 thing.
And I
So,
got the whole T11 thing. And what does that do for you guys then?
Sorry, one second.
Send your rally out.
1 second. Why did someone just try soloing this? What the hell is going on?
Because that's what people do. Doesn't matter what state you're in or how old it
It's
is.
my
There's
own
always
alliance.
somebody that tries to solo.
It's my own alliance. Who tried to solo this? What is happening?
Yeah.
Okay. 2025. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Peter, what alliance are you in? What state are you in? In chat.
Kick and bad. Close. Very close to that.
What?
640 is the thing, so marksman is there. I do 640 in attack.
You do 640 as attack?
Yeah. Yeah.
What hero gen are you guys in?
And we're in. Good question. 8.
Gotcha, Jester. You said Gen 8?
Yeah. So Gen 4, we started doing the 640 in defense. But then everyone started doing the 640 in defense as well, so we needed to counter it. But I know how to counter it, but I'm not gonna say that. Because that's my...
You can tell me offline in the green room.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, now we do 640 in attack, and it's been really, really good.
Yeah, we got to try that out. We're always willing to test. So Jester out there asks, I'll say finish T11 Lancers to have a full set of T11s, or save for FC9. What would you tell him? So he's got infantry and marksman T11. Only needs a push to get to T11 Lancers. Do that in prep, or save for FC9?
T11.
T11. He's that close, right? Might as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because if the T11s finish, that's out of the way. You don't have to do anything else with the T11s.
Unless T12.
Unless you wanna, yeah, yeah, that. But yeah, FC9 troops aren't that great. I have FC9 and T11s. I have no resources left, man. I'm broke.
Yeah, I'm saving my pennies. I'm gonna try to go from FC8 to full FC10 as soon as it comes out.
Period. As you should. You already have T11s, don't you?
I got pretty lucky.
There you go.
Mia was very nice to me. I told you, I got 4,000 crystals in one event. Like, what do you got to do? Excellent. All right, so chat. Any more questions for Tootsie or myself? It's about all the time that we have for today. I want to see if anybody's got any other questions, comments, want to ask.
I don't think so.
No? Excellent. Well, Tootsie, thank you so very much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with us your experience, your journey from being. You laugh, but whether you validate your own experience or not.
Oh no! Someone asked a question as soon as you were like explaining.
We're not. Here's a funny story. So when Tootsie and I were kind of doing the pre-interview thing, she tells me that her history, and I can tell you that there's a lot of people that are very good and very giving that don't have the best of history. So I want to not have Tootsie talk about her tyrannical past.
I can.
You can? Go. All right. So if you're comfortable with sharing, when are you going to burn your state again?
I'm a changed woman, and I'm not gonna burn this state. I'm not gonna burn this state. I don't have plans yet. Sorry. No, I actually don't have plans at all. Peter, wait, who's Peter? I know who Peter is. Give me 1 second. Let me go.
Peter's been very active in the chat
Doritos.
today. Great information.
Doritos.
Obviously knows you from the
Doritos. It's Doritos. Call him Doritos.
It's Doritos?
Mm-hmm.
A friend of yours?
He's actually I'm gonna call him out. He's one of the mentors, actually.
Nice. Well, Peter, thank you so very much for being on the live stream today. Truly appreciate the information that you've shared with everybody. I think that there's a lot of people out there early on in the game that kind of have history with another similar game, and being the tyrant is actually the way to play those things. Being a tyrant early on in the game is not a good thing. It will kill the state and hinder its progression.
It varies. It varies. It really varies.
It varies?
Yeah, it varies. It varies on the people you're surrounded with and stuff like that. So obviously, if people around you are being very toxic and stuff like that, and if you have to step up and be a tyrant, then maybe sometimes you need to be a tyrant. But obviously, sometimes, at most times, it's obviously uncalled for being a tyrant.
Yeah.
You know what, Doritos? Cut it.
Tootsie trying to defend her tyrant behavior. In 1124, I did burn down the entire state. So I'll go out and say it. I'm a reformed tyrant. I did it in the best intention possible. But after I did it, I regretted it that I've never done. I don't even participate in BIA anymore. I don't. I convinced Nap, so the other whale and myself were getting very bored, and we said we've got to keep their interest in the game. and nobody wanted to fight at facilities. Nobody wanted to fight at forts. Everybody was kind of
boring.
assigned. And the Sunfire Castle was essentially the same thing. We would just take the castle, everybody would take the turrets, and the game was over, right? 3 hours in, and the game was over. So I said that we needed to have something. So BIA explains it very clearly in its rules that you either bubble or you're going to die. And you don't get anything back. So I convinced the state to agree to have unlimited city hits. And I proceeded to take advantage of the new NAP rule and burn, including my own alliance, the entirety of the state. I think that I lost like 3 billion in power. But the downfall of that is that I impacted players to the point that they quit. And that made me realize that to a lot of people, this is a little bit more than just a game. That they put a lot of time and effort, and sometimes money, into growing their account as best that they can, just to have somebody else come in and bully them and take it all out. I felt so bad from that. I profusely apologized, and I proceeded to take my account into every alliance and teach them everything that I knew about Bear, about CJ, about all the events, formations, heroes, and guidelines. And I think that was a big, I think that this YouTube channel is essentially a part of like repentance at this point. But that was many moons ago, before even fire crystals were available. That was 11/24, a long time ago. But Tootsie, once again, thank you so very much for your time and sharing a drink with me today in chat. I hope that you have a beautiful evening. And chat, thank you guys so much for the love and support you guys show. Really appreciate you all.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it. Even though I was like really fucking nervous at the start of it. But yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
Good. You almost got to finish the glass of wine and the fireball bottle.
No, the fireball is still.
For another
I think
time.
it's full. No, it's gonna get finished on that probably.
All right, everybody. Love you very much. Stay spicy.
Bye.